Hi teacher, hi guys. My group is made up of Antonio Garcia, Brian de la Cruz, and myself, Viviana Lojano. The topic that I am going to present to you is present simple. We use the present simple tense for the following citation. Number 1, to describe permanent and long-term facts. For example, lions live in Africa. Number 2, describe habits and routines. For example, I usually get up at 7 a.m. Number 3, to express general preference and opinions. For example, she loves music. And number 4, to prefer to the schedule of transport of events. For example, our flight leaves at 1 p.m. The structure, affirmative, is subject plus verb más complement. For example, I go to church on Sundays. Negative is subject plus auxiliar, do not and doesn't not, plus verb más complement. For example, they don't study at night. And interrogative is auxiliary do or doesn't, plus subject, plus verb, plus complement. For example, where does she work? Yeah. Affirmative. As you can see, we simply use the past form of the verb play for all the subjects, except the third person. Singular, where we add s. For example, they work here, she likes tennis, you have a beautiful car, we want a sandwich. Negative. To create negative sentence, we add don't for a you, we, they, and doesn't. For he, she, it. For example, we don't have time, they don't come from the city, I don't like tea. Interrogative. And to make question, we add do. For I, you, we, they, and doesn't. For he, she, it. For example, do we need to make a reservation? Doesn't it rain much here? Do they want something to eat? The third person singular. There are the ways to add s. So verbs in present simple, according for the spell of the verbs. For example, s pronounced is. Verb stand and in ch, sh, es, ss, and x. For example, watches, fixes. Es pronounce is. Verbs which end in a consonant and remove the and add yes. For example, studies, Aprilis. And s pronounced s or c. Verbs which and in other letters. For example, text listens. Examples: he studies very hard. She doesn't violent, and he doesn't want to go out. Regular verbs. Number 1. Regular verbs create the past simple as participle, be adding s to the passive form of the verb. For example, past form arrive, past simple arrives, past participle arrives. Number 2, regular verbs create the past simple and past participle by adding s to the basic form of the verb. For example, past form marry, past simple married, past participle married. Number 3, if a verb ends in e, we use at the. Past form hate, past participle hated, past participle hated. Number 4, there are other ways to pronounce s, depending on the last letter of the verb. P. Verbs ending in f, s, x. For example, watches, kicks, or fixes. AS. Verbs ending in the or t. Needs or wanted. And them verbs ended with all other letters. For example, listens or plays. Regular, irregular verbs. Number 1, verbs that have the same passive form, the same past simple and past participle. For example, past form costs, past simple costs, and past participle costs. Number 2, verbs that have the same past simple and the same past participle. For example, past form bring, past simple brought, past participle brought. Number 3, verbs have the same participle. For example, past form come, past simple come, past participle come. And number 4, verbs that have different basic form, past simple and past participle. For example, past form be, past simple was or were, and past participle been.
Present continuous. The present continuous tense describes an action that is happening now. This verb tense is formed by the present tense of the verb to be and is are, adding the suffix and ing. Structure, subject, verb to be, verb, ing, plus complement. For example, dancer, bailar, dancing, bailando. Play, jugar, playing, jugando. Next partner. Structure negative. Subject must verb to be, plus no, plus verb, ing, plus complement. When expressing in its negative form, the verb then stands something is happening now. For example, I am working, I am not working. You are working, you are not working. They are breathing, they are not breathing. Question. Structure, verb to be, plus subject, plus verb, ing, plus complement. When is at the question, the verb to be is placed, therefore, the subject and is are. For example, I am eating, estoy comiendo. Are they either playing in the park? Ellos están jugando en el parque. It is raining, está lloviendo. Holidays. Holidays. For example, why the hack planning for the vacation? For example, for the vacation, I am planning to visit the city of Cuenca because it is a very nice city. Over there, I will check about. I will stay in an hotel and go alone to many times. I don't know come about the city. I plan to visit in Cuenca, for example, Turi, the cathedral, and its restaurant.
The preposition of time. In English, the three most common prepositions of place are at, on, and in, and are used according to the element they accompany. The preposition in can be used for centuries, decades, years, months, weeks, and cities. The preposition on can be used days, weeks, streets, and avenues. The preposition at can be used hours and address a specific location. The preposition at signifies en. It is used to refer to the specific point where an element is located. Use a specific place, specific cities, events for address, wing number, and street are mentioned to mark the time. Examples at home, at school, at bus station, and concert, and the decks. At a meeting, at a party, we have tea at 5 o'clock. I usually get up at 7. Some examples in my meeting is at 3 p.m. Martin is sitting at the table. My sister is at the hospital. The preposition in signifies en. It is used to express that an element in a closed space or in a space that has definite limits. Use on cities, towns, countries, examples in London, in Cuenca, in Ecuador. Part a house, examples in a kitchen, in a garden, in a bedroom. Other expressions, some examples in a card, in a newspaper, in a taxi, in a prison. Some examples, the cathedral church is in Cuenca, the cat is in the kitchen, Luis in the taxi because he's a taxi driver, in dance in the morning, in will travel in April, she was born in 2002. The preposition on is used to express that an element on a surface. Use means of transport, surfaces for directions, other expressions. Examples on a bus, on a train, on a walk, on a door, on a floor, on a Turkey street, on a TV, on a grace. Some examples, I always go on a bus to university. The clock is hanging on the wall. The museum is on the largest street. My birthday party is on Saturday. There are many animals on the farm. The appointment is on March 26. Preposition on place. The preposition of place are tools that express the exact position of an element, person, object, animal, etc. How are preposition of place used? The preposition of place are always placed in between the verb and the element that expresses the place where sometimes or synonym is found. The most common are the following. Under is preposition that we use to refer to an object that is under another. Example, the baby dummy is under the table. Next to signify al lado de. The cinema is next to the restaurant. In front of signify delante de. The girl is in the front of the chef. Behind signify detrás de. The boy is behind the curtains. Between signify entre dos cosas. My car is between two trees. Around signify alrededor de. These cats are around the rabbit's bin. Above signify encima, por encima de. The balloon is above the table. Below signify debajo de. The table is below the lamp. Over signify encima de, por encima de, sobre. The athlete is jumping over the hurdle. She is wearing a scarf over her dress. Be or beside signify al lado de, junto a. Be or beside is used to refer to that which is next to or very close to another thing or person. She is sitting by her bed. Amount signify encima o por encima de. Used to describe a space or time that more than to object or that. The rabbit is among the boxes. Opposite signify frente a, enfrente de. It is used to express that two things, people, buildings, are friend each other. The boy is sitting opposite the girl. Across signify al otro lado de. Across is used to express that sometime or someone is on the other side of a street. Example, the band is across the street from the salon. Near signifies cerca. Examples, my kid school is near a park. She passed near at my home. The pharmacy is near at the hospital. Close to, cerca de. This preposition means an object that cannot be separated from another. Example, the Calderon Park is next to the Cathedral Church. Yes, yeah.
Thank you, teacher. That's our presentation.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.